Hello to newcelica.org. This is an install guide for Speed Source's Toyota shift cable bushing kit. As you can see, this is what's included with the kit. It replaces the shift cable bushings from the stock rubber to these brass bushings, which make for a more solid feel in your shifting. See, this is my car. Yes, I did get the halos. They went out. So I just don't use the halos and enjoy the LEDs. Oh well. And as you can see, I already have my car on jack stands. It's all jacked up. So I popped my hood and I took off my engine covers. And to give you guys a point of reference, there's my intake. There's my throttle body. And I will do a close-up of what we will actually be changing. Adjust my shop light here. Okay. Now, what we're looking at here is this piece right here. That is your lower shift cable. This black thing that's between the top metal piece here and the bottom metal piece here is what we're going to be changing. That's rubber, and we're going to be changing it to brass. And this control cable, is what controls your left to right action whenever you're shifting. Okay, so here is the other one. And this is your upper shift cable, and we'll be changing this one as well. And we'll take out the air filter and the pipe for the air filter, and we'll get this one changed out as well. Okay, so we will be taking off the MAF sensor. That's the mass airflow sensor on my intake. And for that, you will need, I believe it's a 3.5 millimeter. Yes, 3.5 millimeter Allen wrench. Unless, of course, you have some sort of modification. This is for the stock MAF sensor and screws. You just want to set it off to the side somewhere where you're not going to bump it or scrape it or damage it in any way. And next, we will take off this dealio. And all you need for that is a Phillips head screwdriver. Put that screw somewhere where you can not lose it. And you can tuck that out of the way. And next, we will take off the pipe for the air filter. And for this, you can either use a flathead or a 10 millimeter socket. I prefer the socket. It's easier. And you have to release your fuse relay, which it can be done by releasing a lever here on the side of it. You just push that in and push it, pull it, the fuse box up, and it should come right out. And this one you kind of want to tuck out of your way so you can get to this nut right here, which also looks to be a 10 millimeter. So once you get that nut off, I had to work on it because it's a little rusty. Your intake should just slide right out real easy. You guys with different intakes might have a little bit different process. Just slide right off. Okay, so what we're trying to do is remove this line here to make it easier to get to the upper shift linkage. And you can see it moving in there. It's right here. It's this piece here, and we're going to be replacing the bushing in there. And that controls your front and back when you shift. So, in order to remove this line here, which is your clutch line, we have to remove the assembly here, the assembly here. Now, before we remove the assembly, this bolt down here is a bit hard to get to because the line's in the way. And it's a 14 millimeter, and it's kind of in there, and corrosion and all that stuff makes it hard to get off. So what we'll do is we'll loosen the top line here, which needs to be done anyhow. And you fellas be careful when you do this, because this guy's really in there, and it's only a 10 millimeter. And you can't fit a box wrench around that. You can only fit an open-ended wrench. So it's very easy to strip. So put some PB Blaster on there to remove any corrosion, rust, and whatnot to make it easier. And just make sure you don't strip it, because it'll be a pain in the ass to fix. So we'll get that off and remove the rubber line. Okay, and before we take this out, we really want to loosen this here, which connects the aluminum line to the bottom portion of the rubber line. This presents the same situation as the top aluminum line connected to this end. It's only a 10 millimeter. There's lots of corrosion, so we'll spray some PB Blaster on it and let it soak for a little bit. And be very careful when you go to take this off, because you can strip it and it'll be a pain in the ass to change. So, I've already loosened this up. It's a 14 millimeter. Let's see if I can get my hand in there to loosen that up. Get it off there. Okay, now that's off there. And then we can unhook it, and now we have our rubber line out, which will be replaced with that. And now we have better access to the bushing, which is here. And that's the upper bushing. And the lower bushing is right here, right underneath the throttle body. Right there. Sorry about the angle of the camera, it's just a little tight. But that's your lower bushing that controls your left-right motion, and it's on the left side. It's pretty easy to remember. Lower on the left side controls your left-right movement when you shift. This one is your upper bushing, and that controls your front to back movement when you shift. So now we got easier access to that. And if you notice, you can actually manually move the clutch here via this piece here, and you can see it my fingers on it, it moves back and forth. So if you have it all the way back, it's farther back in the engine, so it might behoove you to push it forward so you have easier access to it. To make it a bit easier to get to the bushing, we're going to detach it from the shifter so we can actually get to it. It's a little bit hard to get to remove the rubber bushing, so this is what I'm going to do. Excuse me. If you can actually get to it, more power to you, but I'm having a hell of a time. So this will also be kind of a write-up on how to install your shifter base. First things first, you can just pop this out. Obviously I already took off the ball and the base, the boot, and then also remove the power control module for the window and the locks. It's real easy. It just goes down in there, and there's two screws right here that I already took out, and there is obviously the cable that's connected to it, and there's just a little pin, you pop it out and it comes out and it's nice and out of the way. Now there's two screws that are here, one here and one here, which need to be removed to remove this whole plastic housing here. And also back here in the back in your little compartment, there's two screws that's hidden underneath this piece of cloth here. And I just take a flathead screwdriver and it pops right out of there. And I believe that's a size 10. To make it easier, you need about 9 inches of extension bar. And also to remove it, you will need to take off this screw here and this screw here. Once you get all those screws out, you can just pop the whole thing right off. And as you can see, you got all the deals here exposed, and you got your e-brake. This might be a nice time for you to tighten up your e-brake, which can be done using this bolt here, and you can see the steel line that goes out to the bottom of your car to your rear brakes. Okay, so now we're going to remove the shifter base housing, and to do that we must remove the bolts that hold it in place, and that's this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and this bolt here. And now we'll remove the shifter housing. And I already removed the upper shifter cable on the shifter base housing, which is this one here, and all you got to do is remove this cotter pin and the washer that's on there, and it pops right off. And that, as you can see, gives me a lot more play. Once I get the shifter housing out, I can remove the retaining clips here that make it even more stiffer, and that'll give me a lot of play in the engine compartment so that I can get the new bushings in up there. I'll go ahead and do that now. There we go. Okay. See if I can get those wires off the base housing. So, I removed the wire from the base housing to make it easy to get out, and then me show you this here. The clips here are what retain that shifter cable onto the base housing. So all you gotta do is just take these and get a pair of pliers and just pull up on them, and it will release them. And that will make it free, and you can spin it, and you can see at the bottom this clip here that all you gotta do is spread it apart and push it out, and now we have released the lower shifter control arm in your base housing. The shifter base housing is nice and free. Okay, so as you can see, I got the upper shift cable bushing out, and it's the rubber one, and this one's a little hard to get to, so I took a bungee cord and short one to give me some extra help to keep it steady. And all I did was I just took a pair of needle nose pliers and I punched down on it, which let it go straight out of there. And now we're going to do the lower one. Might be a little difficult since my sexy camera lady is doing something right now. But as you see, there it is. Let me get my light on it so you guys can see it better. Okay. There it is right there. And all you do is you hold it steady and you just push straight down, and it'll pop right out of there. Okay, so as I said, I got this out, the rubber bushing, and I'm still having a little trouble getting the lower shifter cable bushing out, the old one out. So I'm going to remove my throttle body, and it's pretty easy. It's not too hard. All you got to do is take out 4 bolts. That bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and that bolt. You also have to disconnect some electrical fittings. I can get it out. There we go. There's one. There's one back here. Get that off. And disconnect this hose here. You can see, we'll pan it out a little bit for a little reference, easier to tell what it is. There we go. And you have some coolant lines that run through there, which I'm not going to disconnect because I don't feel like bleeding my lines, but just disconnecting the bolts in the electrical system will make it easy enough to where I can move it up and out of the way a little bit so I can get in there a little better. So I'll go ahead and take the bolts out. There's washers on there too, so be careful not to drop those into your engine, especially not into any openings. Okay, set these down. Set them somewhere you're not going to lose them. And as you can see, I can move my throttle body and the spacer that's in there. I'll go ahead and take out. It's hard to do this with one hand. My sexy camera lady is busy right now. Oh yeah, you can see a lot of dirt and grime in there. And I'll be sure to clean that out before I put it back on. That's real nice. And there's your butterfly valve. And that's given me, as you see, that's about what it was before on the lower shifter cable. That's about all I could get to. I can shed some light on there for you. Alright, there it is. Now with the throttle body loose, not quite off, I can maneuver it. You can see I can really get up in there now a lot easier just by moving it up and out of the way. So that gives me a little bit of playroom. So that's how you take off your throttle body. A couple more connections if you want to take it all off and clean it or whatever. Just be careful because you have some coolant lines that are running through here unless you have the bypass mod, which I don't. But you got a line here. Let's see where else. You got a hose here. And you got electrical wire that's attached to the hose here that you're going to want to take off. And you're also going to want to take off this hose here. And then of course your throttle. Take it off here. And then it'll be completely free and you can take it straight out of your car, clean it up. If you get the D&D performance headers, that's how you take it off to put the new Q45 throttle body on there. But that gives me plenty of playroom to get to that. So if you guys need to, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. So now that we got our rubber bushings out, we will install the brass ones. And you remember the left cable is the lower, which controls your left-right movement. And the bushings are different, so you have to use them on the right side. I don't know if you can see it on here, but on one of the bushings will be the letter L stamped onto it. That's for your lower arm. And it goes on the left side. And you take it, you can see the fat end goes down, and you just slip it on the arm here. You can see, I just slipped it right on there, easy. And you can take your cable and slip it right on top of there, easy. And then, I forgot to point out that you don't want to use any of the stock washers that come with this. They're trash now. These don't require washers. And you can also throw away the old cotter pins because it comes with new cotter pins. It does, however, come with retaining clips, which look like these. And it might be easier to... There you go. Looks like that. And those slip on the top here. If I can show you. And they just slip on. You should be able just to push it right on there. If not, you can use some pliers. Looks like I'm going to have to use pliers, but I only have one hand right now, as my sexy camera lady is occupado. So I will pause the camera and put that on. And I'll also put the upper arm on. And then, which is here. And I will put the upper arm on. And we can get back to putting the vehicle back together. So we have completed our shift cable bushing replacement on the engine side. And there's our lower bushing with the retaining clip. And you can see it's the black deal. And then you have the cotter pin that keeps the whole deal, the cable connected to the arm. And you have the upper shift cable here. You can see the brass, and then the retaining pin, the cotter pin, and then the retaining clip as well. So that's it.